ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a little, poor little me. And since you're all here and engaged in this sort of inquiry and listening to this sort of lecture, I assume that you're all on the process of waking up. Or else you're teasing yourselves with some kind of flirtation with waking up, which you're not serious about. But I assume maybe you are, not serious but sincere, that you are ready to wake up. So then, when you're in the way of waking up and finding out who you really are, what you do is what the whole universe is doing at the place you call here and now. You are something the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is something that the whole ocean is doing. The real you is not a puppet which life pushes around. The real deep down you is the whole universe. So then, when you die, you're not going to have to put up with everlasting non-existence, because that's not an experience. A lot of people are afraid that when they die, they're going to be locked up in a dark room forever. And sort of undergo that. But one of the most interesting things in the world, this is a yoga, this is a way of realization. Try and imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Think about that. Children think about it. It's one of the great wonders of life. What will it be like to go to sleep and never wake up? And if you think long enough about that, something will happen to you. You will find out, among other things, that it will pose the next question to you. What was it like to wake up after having never gone to sleep? That was when you were born. You see, you can't have an experience of nothing. Nature affords a vacuum. So after you're dead, the only thing that can happen is the same experience, or the same sort of experience as when you were born. In other words, we all know very well that after people die, other people are born. And they're all you. Only you can only experience it one at a time. Everybody is I. You all know you're you. And wheresoever beings exist throughout all galaxies, it doesn't make any difference. You are all of them. And when they come into being, that's you coming into being. You know that very well. Only you don't have to remember the past. In the same way, you don't have to think about how you work with direct hand, or whatever else it is. You don't have to know how to shine the sun. You just do it. Like you breathe. Doesn't it really astonish you that you are this fantastically complex thing? And that you're doing all of this and you never had any education in how to do it?
We are KiwiCo, and we deliver hands-on STEM projects designed to inspire young innovators.
What's poppin'? It's your boy Quasi again. That was a little 4-minute excerpt from one of my favorite people to listen to, Mr. Alan Watts. Yeah, man. Like I said, something to think about, man. It's just, it's a lot of this stuff out here, man. And he basically, you need to check him out. He got some longer lectures, like hour-long lectures and shit like that. And just give you something to think about, man. It's a beautiful Sunday, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the second day in September. So it is a glorious day. Nice out to the gang. Yeah, man, it's a rainy day in Minnesota, so it's not a lot getting done as of now. can't get out, and I was gonna take some pictures and then try to get some like not to get dressed and get a little homie some pictures taken today. Excuse like the hair, I like the hair. I did something new with it. I'm gonna try to take some weird pictures today. So I try to do my hair in a weird hairstyle. But yeah, I'm gonna go over a couple more of these joints, man. Like I said, while I sit here, you know what I'm saying, you know, reasoning and contemplating life and you know what I'm saying, thought experiments and all that good stuff, you know, trying to figure out my part and my place. Trying to build a strong mental, spiritual foundation. So hopefully I can solidify the physical. Oh man, all day, every day, teaching, learning, and teaching. Each one teach one. And I learn a lot from like I said, cats like Alan Watts and what's the other guy I've been listening to? Jesus, his name slips my mind right now. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a few of them that I get into, you know. What is his name? Robert something? Robert Wilson? I think that's his name. Robert Wilson. I think that's his name. I don't know. I'll rectify that later. But yeah, you know who else have been very influential? I mean, give me some good stuff. I get a lot of good stuff from Jim Carrey. This Alan Watts' Nature of God, that's a nice one too. All right, another thing, something else to think. All right, The Mind. It's another Alan Watts. You guys, I do not own the rights to none of this, but I'm using it out of, you know, fair use.
The grip of vicious circles. Well, one of the most obvious instances that we all know is the phenomenon of worry. The doctor tells you that you have to have an operation. And that has been set up so that automatically everybody worries about it. But since worrying takes away your appetite and your sleep, it's not good for you. But you can't stop worrying, and therefore you're additionally worried that you are worrying. And then furthermore, because that is quite absurd and you're mad at yourself because you do it, you are worried because you worry because you worry. That is a vicious circle. So now, can you allow your mind to be quiet? Isn't it difficult? Because the mind seems to be like a monkey, jumping up and down and jabbering all the time. Once you've learned to think, you can't stop. And an enormous number of people devote their lives to keeping their minds busy and feel extremely uncomfortable with silence. When you're alone, nobody's saying anything, there's nothing to do. There's this worry, this lack of distraction. I'm left alone with myself. And I want to get away from myself. I'm always wanting to get away from myself. That's why I go to the movies. That's why I read mystery stories. That's why I go after to girls or anything that you do or get drunk or whatever. I don't want to be with myself. I feel queer. So, well, why do you want to run away from yourself? What's so bad about it? Why do you want to forget this? Why do you want to become yourself? Because you are addicted to thoughts. It's a drug. You're addicted. Compulsive thinking, going on and on and on and on and on. It's a habit. So there's a difficulty about stopping that activity. And you really have to stop it if you want to be seen. Because if I talk all the time, I don't hear what anyone else has to say. And I'll end up in the situation of having nothing to talk about but my own talking. Or so in exactly the same way, if I think all the time, I won't have anything to think about except thoughts. So in order to have something to think about, there are times when you simply must stop thinking. Well, how do you do that? The first rule is don't try to. Because if you do, you will be like someone trying to make rough water smooth with a flat iron. And all that will do will stir it up. So in the same way as a muddy, turbulent pool quiets itself when left alone, you have to know how to leave your mind alone. It will quiet itself.
That shit deep, though. That shit deep. Try to stop thinking. That's a hell of a thought experiment right there in itself, huh? Knowing it's impossible to not think. Quieting the mind. Shit. That shit's hard to do. Meditation is one of the hardest things I think I ever attempted. But you know, meditation is everywhere though, just thinking. It's something to think about though. Something to think about. I got another one here too. It said this the one about Jim Carrey. Now, like I said, everybody, it just, I don't know. The guy, I grew up watching the guy. He made me laugh as growing up, you know what I'm saying? As a teenager, he kept me amused. As a young adult, he had me entertained. And as I get to my older, more picky stage, he still continues to surprise me with his sense of awareness, like his insight into the human condition or whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? I think he got a good look at it. Let me see if this will play without. How you when they do that? It's like you can't get it without that.
It's what's happening right now inside everybody is they're going, who am I?
What do you feel
This shit deep.
when you say the word I? I, myself.
That today I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. So we live in this perception of ourselves. Hence, my identity is made by what my parents think I should be. My identity is made up by what my college or university thinks I should achieve.
I don't think there can be any more fascinating preoccupation than that. Because it's so mysterious. It's so elusive.
And at a certain point, I realized, hey, wait a second, if it's so easy to lose Jim Carrey, who the hell is Jim Carrey?
At some point, when you create yourself to make it, you're going to have to either let that creation go and take a chance on being loved or hated for who you really are, or you're going to have to kill who you really are and fall into your grave grasping onto a character that you never were.
I want you to find your own walk right now,
your own way of striding, pacing, any direction, anything you want. Robert Frost said, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. And that's why there's always an element of profound mystery in the problem of who we are.
Definitely.
Because what you are in your inmost being escapes your examination in rather the same way that you can't look directly into your own eyes without using a mirror. You can't bite your own teeth. You can't taste your own tongue.
Man.
And you can't touch the tip of this finger with the tip of this finger.
What? Think about
Doesn't it
that.
really astonish you that you are this fantastically complex thing? And that you're doing all of this and you never had any education in how to do it? You know, and then at some point in your life, you have to go, I don't care what it looks like. You know, I've found the hole in the psyche and I'm going through. And I'm going to face the abyss of not knowing whether that's going to be okay with everybody or not. I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world is, who am I? What do you think you are? We speak of coming into this world. We didn't. We came out of it. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. The ocean waves and the universe peoples.
Basically, when you're really firing and it really works, it's like musicians have said it, writers say it, it's just, you're just channeling. That's where you say that divine inspiration,
Robin
which is
Williams,
yes, you're just letting it through you.
The comedians of our times are like just geniuses. The late great Robin Williams, and you know what I'm saying, even Dick Gregory before he passed away, you know what I'm saying, he turned to spreading the wisdom and get people to know what's really going on out there and to get into looking into who you really are. That's what it's all about, who you really are. And asking those real questions and following that path, and you know what I'm saying? Because like that's one thing I realized, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. Like you ask a question and you think you're gonna get a certain answer. You ain't getting no fucking answers. You get more questions, which in turn answers certain aspects of your question. But now that question has become so much bigger, you can never get the full answer that you was looking for in the beginning. But the journey itself is like you're not gonna give up, because now that you know so much more, there's so much more to know. Some people call it the rabbit hole, whatever. You run around in circles, but that's what it is, though. You learn a lot about shit, and you learn how big the world really is, and how what we see in our day to day, and you know what I'm saying, it's just only a portion. It's like we live in the country, United States of America, and the people in Minnesota have no fathom understanding what the people in Arizona do, unless you know somebody in Arizona or you watch something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's different. Like we got to dress different on a regular basis. The people in Florida, you know what I'm saying? They used to salt water. We're used to lakes. And you know, in the Midwest, we used to farms. You know what I'm saying? Some motherfuckers from New York come to go drive through Wisconsin and shit, see some fucking cows just sitting out chilling. They're like, fuck that, son. What that is, B? It's a fucking cow, son. No. I'm just saying, it's like we don't know what the fuck goes on in other parts of the world, let alone what goes on in our neighbor's house. You know. Let me get the rem. That was just something to think about. Something to think about. It definitely is, though. I listen to these cats, you know what I'm saying? Robert Anton Wilson, that's his name. And I just watch. Now I'll be catching myself listening to 2-hour lectures. You know what I'm saying? They talking about consciousness, and you know what I'm saying, and opening up your mind, and it's not the fact that I don't take everything that I hear in these things like to heart as fact. It's just a different, like I said, different facet of the same stone. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to polish this motherfucker, so I gotta understand every facet of my shit. So I don't cut this out. Like, you know, take what you can use and leave the bullshit behind. Basically, that's what it boils down to. But then what I've noticed too is you always come back to the duality of the shit, no matter how bad something looks. No matter how bad something looks, you can always find something good in it as well, if you know, look hard enough. I'm trying to find this one thing by what's his name? Robert Anton Wilson. There we go. He's a weirdo though, but he's not really. No, that's not the guy I want to talk to about consciousness. Where's this dude that was he was doing experiments with hallucinogen drugs and like the whole LSD craze. That was that's some shit for your ass, that Tim Leary shit, you know what I'm saying? And how basically I came across this shit is like, you know what I'm saying? Because for centuries, millennia, whatever you want to say, the fucking indigenous people have used cannabis in all other areas, so just finding the medicinals. But then I got into the psychedelics, like the mushrooms and the ayahuasca teas, and you know what I'm saying, how the different methods of, you know, consumption gives different effects and all that woo woo woo. And some people like some places marijuana is a staple, and it's not just Jamaica. Jamaica is not even, that's not even the whole, that's just some bullshit I don't even want to get into, but yeah, so I got to looking at all these other drugs, like how the government was responsible for, or a government, don't know which one, was for MDMA, which was ecstasy back in the 70s. I know how your government used it for therapeutic assistant tools and all that dumbass shit. But LSD was one of the biggest fucking drugs that was being used way back. And they were talking about how this shit got deep though. It just got like, you know, they found the guy. Yeah, my brain get jumbled up. But so while I was looking into that shit, I came across the dude. Like I said, he was an autistic dude getting high off LSD. I believe it was LSD. He had a mild form of Asperger's, and they was using it to, you know, to see if it would, you know, help him out. Same way to do with the Parkinson's, the real bad Parkinson's, smoked the blunt and was cool. This dude, like, he was just, you know, whatever. But that's how I got into this shit, like looking into it and following up. But then it's like this one thing called Dutch. It's a Dutch channel. It's called Drug Labs or some shit like that. They give out the other guy. I'm getting confused. I'm all shit. Don't mind me. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get my shit together. But I wasn't planning on saying nothing like somebody called me. Morning, guys. 25 minutes in. I gotta take this call, and I would do it on here, but I'm not gonna happen. So catch y'all later.